current king of Saudi Arabia is Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, or King Salman for short. The Arabic name Salman is a variation of the name Solomon, which is the purported wise king from the golden age of biblical Israel. King Salman is 87 years old. He's been in pretty poor health for a number of years now, mostly heart problems that have had him in and out of the hospital. Contrary to Saudi government propaganda and media statements, the king has been unable to fulfill a lot of his duties for some time now. Stepping up to act as the de facto ruler in his place has been the king's son, Crown Prince Mohammad bin Salman, or MBS as he's known in Western media. Just a few years back, MBS wasn't even in line to succeed his father as king. The Crown Prince, as recently as 2017, the man who was in line to succeed King Salman was actually Salman's nephew, Prince Mohammed bin Nayef. Spelled Nayef, looks like Prince Nayef, but it's Prince Najib. He had worked closely with the USA, with our State Department, with our paramilitary, the CIA. He had worked with them for decades, and they loved him. They were very glad to have such an asset in place who was going to take over the throne of this powerful, oil-rich nation. In fact, incoming President Trump's new CIA director and future Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, made his first order of business a visit overseas to Saudi Arabia to see Prince Najib in person. Pompeo had only been in office for less than 3 weeks, but he personally presented Najib with the CIA's coveted George Tenet Medal in recognition of Najib's close association over the years with the CIA and with its objectives there in the region. But just months after Pompeo's visit, the Crown Prince was shockingly removed from his place as the heir to the throne, and he was replaced by an upstart rival, this guy we're talking about, Mohammed bin Salman. One reason that this move was so shocking is because it was a brazen move against the regional interests of the CIA, one that not only benefited MBS personally, but it also served the interests of an enemy state, the State of Israel. They had been enemies for decades, actually since the founding of Israel. What the Saudi public did not know at that time was that MBS was already engaging in secret talks with Israel, something that would have sparked outrage among the public because there were no diplomatic ties between the countries. So to say that MBS is a controversial figure is an understatement. A few years back, he bought one of the most expensive private homes in the world for $300 million, and just one of the paintings that he put in that house, he paid $450 million for that one picture alone. This is the man who used Blackwater mercenaries to help round up and in some cases torture over 100 of his extended family members, mostly cousins, until they swore allegiance to him. And in some cases, he even insisted that they turn over vast sums of money. He forced his cousin, Prince Al-Walid bin Talal, to turn over control of more than $2 billion in assets in order to be released from his imprisonment. This guy, Al-Walid, by the way, is the rich Saudi prince who co-owned the Four Seasons luxury hotel chain with Bill Gates, including that top floor of the Mandalay Bay Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. It was after I had first made that information public that a bunch of sensationalized Saudi conspiracy theories started rapidly disseminating out there on YouTube and elsewhere to try and deflect the public's attention from what we were producing, which was credible research that we were releasing, me and other legitimate investigators. So with all this money, MBS became a powerful political figure. One who was quick to engage in corrupt schemes with governments around the world, including the Trump administration, trying to secure favorable actions, in this case, by the U.S. government. For example, MBS poured over $1 billion from the Saudi fund into the new investment firm of Steve Mnuchin. This is a former Goldman Sachs banker, an executive who Trump tapped as his U.S. Treasury Secretary. But MBS gave double that money to the investment firm of President Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. So drain the swamp my ass. There's a reason that the Trump administration turned a blind eye when MBS had Saudi-American journalist Jamal Khashoggi brutally tortured, cut off his head, chopped him into pieces, made him disappear. There's a reason that the old Bush Jr. administration shielded certain Saudi royals from consequences when the Senate was trying to hold them accountable, because they helped to finance the 9/11 attacks. It's the same reason that the Biden administration today barks at the Saudi government over its human rights abuses, but it doesn't have the balls to actually bite the hand that feeds it. Like the state of Israel, Saudi Arabia presents, in my opinion, a significant threat to the national security and the interests of the United States and to us, the citizens of the countries. For example, MBS, as Saudi defense minister, successfully manipulated the U.S. government into providing military support, financing for the brutal Saudi war against neighboring Yemen. Setting aside that the United States had bombs that we sent over that killed children in school buses in Yemen, there was also the naval blockade that we helped the Saudis to enforce that deprived Yemen of much needed medical supplies and food, and it plummeted the country into mass starvation. I'm sure you've seen some of these countless images of skeleton-like Yemeni children dying of starvation, and U.S. taxpayer money helped with this. This is not a war that the USA is involved in because we're afraid Yemen's going to attack us. It's because the Zionist government of Israel and Prince Mohammad bin Salman both insisted that the USA help them weaken Saudi Arabia's regional competitor, oil, for example, and that's Iran. But the mafia family that runs the kingdom is so magnificently powerful that any government officials in the USA, at least, that try and do business with them, they can't resist the temptation to betray the good of America for a sweaty fistful of bloodstained dollars. And so the Saudi government effectively manipulates U.S. politicians, and no puppeteer is as grand as Prince Salman. So, folks, he's not even king yet. Can you imagine what this guy is going to do to manipulate our politicians with his wealth once he does become king? So the story of his coup that brought him to power, it's intriguing. I've talked about it in the past, off and on over the last 5 years. There was some sensational disinformation back in 2017 that tried to link the Saudi coup to the Las Vegas massacre, disinformation that I thoroughly debunked at that time. So what I'm going to do this time around is I am going to give you the true story of the Saudi coup that put MBS in line for the throne. And this deep dive is going to be spread out over a series of 3 to 5 videos. I'm going to share with you a lot of information, including some newly released intelligence that is believed to have been leaked by Prince Nayef's closest advisor, his intelligence chief. And so with each one of these videos that I post to YouTube, I'm also going to be posting a shorter companion video on Patreon with some additional information about the episode. If you want to gain access to those videos, if you want to support my work, help me get the YouTube channel going again, all you have to do is sign up at Patreon to support my work. With a donation of $5 or more, you can go to patreon.com/BlackstoneIntel to sign up. Bonus video content you can find in the post section on Patreon as they become available. Now, in my next video, what I'm going to do is begin this series by giving you some background information, a history of the Saudi kingship, its controversial line of succession. These are stories that are brimming with conspiracies, coups, duplicity, diabolical deceit. Now, if you've already subscribed to my channel, take a second to click the bell icon there, the notification, so that you'll get alerts when each of these videos goes live. Well, thank you all for watching. I'm glad to be back. For the Blackstone Intelligence Network, I'm Jake Morphonios.